Alright guys, well it's been a while since I've been able to post anything. I've been having audio issues with my mic, but I got that all sorted out, so wanted to post an update. It's been a little over a year since I've had my Monster, so I wanted to give a follow-up review of what my thoughts are of it now. Now that I've had it for a while, now that I've ridden it every day, I have just about 6,000 miles. I'll probably hit that today actually. So just what it's like to ride a Monster for every day for a year. Almost every day anyway. So if you've watched any of my videos, you probably know commuting is most of my riding. Spirited commuting, I guess you could say. I'll hang out with Taylor, ride with some friends every once in a while. I haven't tracked it yet, but yeah, so pretty much everyday average riding. And I still think this is the perfect bike for that. I was thinking about it earlier, and I think the Monster is kind of the uncompromising compromise when you kind of want to do a little bit of everything. You want something that's comfortable, you want something that's performant, you want something that's sporty but not too sporty. You want to have the option of maybe tracking it or maybe go touring. It does a little bit of everything well, and it's not bad at any of those things. I know people who have gone on like thousands of miles on a road trip on a Monster, getting it all loaded up with bags. They say it's great. There's definitely people that track it, and every day it's perfect. So it's not the best at any individual thing per se, but it's great at everything. I don't know if I'd off-road on this. Maybe it's not an adventure bike. Although Moto Corsa, they took a Panigale off-road, so if they can convert that to an adventure bike, I'm sure they could convert anything. So I guess updates on my opinion since I've had it. The biggest gripe I've had with my bike until very recently, as you might be able to see, I've made a bunch of changes. I will do a follow-up video where I go into them in detail, but just kind of general overview. I have Rizoma drag bar. Oh man, I accidentally closed my map. Well, we'll start with that then. I have a quad lock mount for my phone, which is awesome. It kind of just gives me two heads-up screens. I don't know if you can see that. Normally I have my map shown there, but just closed that by accident. Rizoma drag bars, those are amazing. CRG levers, RC2s, CRG aero mirrors, Competition Works slip-on exhaust, and the Ducati rear sets. So the biggest complaint I had about this bike was definitely the configuration of the passenger pegs. It was just so in the way. You couldn't ever get on the balls of your feet. If you were on the balls of your feet, the passenger peg was just right in your way and kicking your heel out, and you could never get good position. So I ended up getting rear sets. I got the ones from Ducati. There's a couple options. CNC makes some good ones. Ducati. Gecko Racing has some. I'm not terribly impressed with the build quality on those, but I know some people that like them, and they're affordable. But yeah, I honestly don't know if I would ever consider I got to get out in front. You don't want to stare at cars' butts this whole video. I don't think I would consider tracking this bike with the stock passenger pegs, because you cannot move around the bike like you should be able to. Even like the 696, 796, 1100 Evo, like those all, you could move great. You had so much clearance. But the 821 and the 1200, that passenger peg is just a pain in the ass. If you're just riding around or in canyons, it's probably fine. I know I probably would not have gotten rear sets if I hadn't damaged my old bike in a little slide. It wasn't a big deal, but it was enough to scratch it. I probably wouldn't have done the upgrade, but since I had to replace it anyway, actually we'll stay here. Since I had to replace it anyway, I decided to go for the upgrade. And it is definitely made a huge difference on this bike. For me personally, I know it's preference, but I feel like this bike is a lot more comfortable now than it was stock, because I always wanted a slightly more aggressive position. 821 from the factory comes very upright. It's a very casual position, and your feet are definitely underneath you, and the bars are up. You kind of want to sit upright on the bike. I wanted something a little bit more aggressive, but not uncomfortable. And I think between the drag bars and the rear sets, it allows you to lean forward comfortably. I can definitely move around on the bike. And I feel like I just have more power in my arms and shoulders to maneuver around the bike. So I'm pretty happy with these ergonomic changes. And I think that's one thing that's great about this bike, is you can really tailor it to whoever you are. If you want to configure it for touring, it's got all kinds of storage options that you can strap onto the back. You can get a windscreen, you can get higher bars, and just take off, ride 1,000 miles, you'll be great. Or you can kind of do what I did, make it more aggressive, and go rip it up on the track. Or just have a bike that looks like it could rip up the track and just drive to work every day, like I actually do. But I like it, and that's what matters. Some other little things I did. I replaced, I don't know if you can see it, I'll have pictures later. Replaced the decals with some retro decals, and I also have a LED headlight. It's the OPT7, and that made a actually pretty big difference. It's a lot more light, and it's a little bit bluer. Well, I guess it's actually a pure white light, but it's bluer than the stock one because that was more amber. And I have sliders from Motivation USA. They're actually here in Austin. I didn't know that for the longest time. I'd always seen Motivation. It was like, cool, online site, whatever. But they are a local business here in Austin, so go support those guys. Tell them Nathan sent you. I'm not sponsored. I would maybe like to be. They gave me a t-shirt, but they're pretty cool guys. So if y'all have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I can either answer. I'll probably answer them right away, and I may also post another video now that I've got all my recording set up again. I will definitely go more into detail on all of the modifications I've done. Especially, I think people are probably most interested in seeing something about the rear sets, because I know that's something that a lot of people have had interest in. But all in all, I have no complaints about this bike. It has been perfect for me. Riding every day, city streets, a little bit of open spaces, some highway riding. I don't think there's anything better. Panigale is definitely sexier, but I don't think I'd be very comfortable on that bike for very long. And even here in Texas, heat has not been an issue. I mean, there's some days where it's 100 degrees and I get sweaty, but that's not the bike's fault. The only thing I really wish I could change about this bike is that Ducati didn't give it the freaking single-sided swing arm. I want that thing so bad. I don't even want the 1200 engine. I just want that swing arm. This bike has plenty of power. Even plenty of power to like really get you in trouble. I know it can wheelie. I don't wheelie on it, but I know the 1200, it's pretty easy. So if that's your thing, I don't know. I mean, if you know how to wheelie, whatever. Get whatever bike you want. You can wheelie anything. You can wheelie a Harley. But it would certainly be easier on the 1200. This I found never power wheelies when you don't expect it to. It's pretty planted. But if you really try, you can get it up. But yeah, I mean, it's plenty of power. I don't feel like I want more power. I don't feel like I need to upgrade to the 1200. If somebody handed me a 1200, I'd say, awesome, thank you. Can I put my parts on? I don't feel any need to upgrade to a bigger engine. I don't feel any need to upgrade the suspension. I thought about doing a new ECU tune. The local dealer here does Rexer. I've also heard good things about, I think it's Rapid Bike. Yeah, there's a lot of options if you want to do that. Some of them actually just trick the ambient temperature gauge. I think it's colder to make the mix a little richer. And in case anybody's wondering, the sound of this twin in through that Competition Works exhaust. Goodness gracious, people, get off your phone! Slam on your freaking brakes so you can get over. I think we're gonna go through door number 2. But as I was saying before, this sound of this V-twin never gets old. And I don't know, it's a close race between all the mods I've done, but I think the Competition Work is still my favorite. This thing sounds incredible. And that's definitely what I get the most comments on. That's about as twisty as my ride gets. But they're fun. Yay, traffic circles. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. Awesome bike. If you're thinking about buying it, go for it. If you haven't had a bike before, and you want this as your first bike, I get that question a lot. I mean, honestly, it is totally up to you as a rider. Can you buy this day one and survive and not crash it? Absolutely. Keep it in the wet mode, and that makes the throttle much more manageable. It makes it much more predictable. It actually lowers the horsepower. So it is perfectly fine to ride if you're new. That said, your first 6 months or so, you're much more likely to drop it or have an accident, for something to go wrong. And when I mean drop it, I don't even mean like in a corner or riding it. I mean pulling out of your driveway, or just parking it. Like, bikes are heavy and it takes some adjustment, and at some point you will probably knock your bike over while you're not even moving. And it sucks that happens with a shiny new motorcycle that's expensive to repair. So you can get some good deals on 696s or 695s, so I'd probably recommend that as your first bike. But if you want to start with this, you probably will not kill yourself. It's manageable. Alright guys, well I'm here, so I will see y'all later.